baby. We're gonna be here now. Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's start it, man. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. The D&D Level Podcast once again. Here with you guys, man. Hey, let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So we're talking about how we leveled up this week.
Oh,
So basically, how we got to certain. I had to deal with different challenges this week.
mhm.
So in the essence of dealing with those challenges, had to be really grateful for all the things that I already have,
Right.
and start to understand the dynamics of what's going on with me in terms of being able to get more rest, getting things deal with my body, being aware of things going on in my body, how to level up myself in terms of my health, really.
Right.
And a lot of times we're always running and running and running, and then we don't take time and inventory to rest, to focus, to start seeing the things that are going on inside of us. So I really got an opportunity this week to do that. Like, and that kind of gave me an understanding, and also how to put certain things in perspective. Because like I said, I'm not going to tell exactly what the challenges was.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But we had some things we had to deal with on our financial level, and we had some losses and we had some wins. And sometimes you allow these losses to like affect you a lot deeper than they should. Even though sometimes you might even replace that money, and that money is gone, and then you have other things that replace it. It was more so the understanding of not getting into a place of self blame or or beating yourself up for doing certain things, especially when you have a standard for yourself. Like, you have a standard for yourself. Sometimes when your standard is so high, you expect yourself to maintain the standard at all times.
Yeah, man. That'll mess you up in itself.
Yeah.
B.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, I hold myself to a certain standard with certain things, and I'm just like, it becomes so overwhelming
Yeah, that's
that,
the
like,
word.
you just kind of,
Yeah.
like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And you're like, man, everybody else is eating like this, and you look around, you start comparing,
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
get the shoulds going.
Should, coulda,
The
woulda.
shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah,
Man, that's
exactly.
crazy, man.
Yeah, I had to. What it was, I had to forgive myself and let it go. That was the hardest part, because I had to let myself off the hook. That was the hardest part, because I was like, why you do this? You shouldn't do this. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or it shouldn't have happened this way. But the whole should thing, is out of my control. Out of control, and it was a fear that allowed situations to happen. And we talked about that before,
Right.
Like false evidence appearing real is a fear, and it was something that the Bible talks about. The thing that you fear, the very thing that you fear, comes upon you. And I was like, I made choices out of that fear,
Right.
instead of just like not just being relaxed and calm and still. I made that left when I should have. Like, I drove off the cliff. I was like, we just drove off the cliff.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you're supposed to make the right turn, but you made the left turn, and I don't know why I made that left turn. It's like, it's almost like, you remember we talked about the whole situation, like, you put things in place that you believe should happen,
Right.
Like, even in relationships, so you start working on that negative thing, like, I knew he was going to cheat, so I may as well cheat.
Oh, I was.
You know what I'm saying? So then you cheat, and they're like, I never cheated. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man.
So you can't put fears in place. Fears will destroy you, because and that and it's almost like the devil is like speaking in your ear, like, yeah, you should do this, and you brought it to pass.
You made
it happen. It's like you're making it happen because you're thinking about bad things, because you're like, this is good happening to me. It can't be that good.
That's like my biggest fear, though, man. I have this thing, right, where I'm thinking, like, yo, what if I've come to this awareness that you can make things that you don't want to happen.
Yeah.
And it's because you really want it not to happen. So you bring it up, you bring it up, you bring it up.
Yeah.
You don't know that you're manifesting it. You're talking about it. You're bringing it, you're making it a part of your universe.
Yeah.
And you can't do that if you plan on not having it there.
Exactly.
It's coming for you the longer you grab for it. The longer
you're pulling it toward yourself.
You're pulling it towards you, and you can't do that if you plan on not having it in your life.
Exactly. And it's the fear. And the funny thing is, even with these fears, is like you're pulling it toward you, and it's like you're going down this slippery slope.
Just
and you're like sliding
down.
down, and you're like, I know I'm sliding down, but it's like you keep on you enforcing it. And it also works the opposite way. Like, you have to get to the point where you pull yourself out of that, and then like start focusing on the goals that you want, and start like putting your mind toward that.
Right.
Getting you to the point where, yes, I am going to be successful at this point, and I got to keep on driving myself to it. And then sometimes you have situations like even during this week, I was working on some things, even with the application. I was like, oh, bro, like this is hard. This is hard. This is tough. Like I got to start seeing myself back here. When I when I was telling you about the whole island situation, right? And it's inside for me and Pete. So we'll give you that game once we start doing
Check the Patreon.
Check the Patreon. Come on. So exactly. So we're upper level thinking. Okay?
Right.
Upper level thinking. So that's an inside joke. Anyways, with that, it had to draw me out of my present mindset.
Right.
Because I was like, man, like there's always an opportunity for you want to give up. Like, man, this is not working, bro. I know it can work if I get these, and these things.
Right.
If I connect with this, and this person. But it's almost like there's a person that I could talk to that's very influential, who's very wealthy. Now, you could approach the person, and all they're gonna say is no. That's all they can say is no.
True.
If they decide not to invest and then decide not to do it, then that's fine. You didn't get any further than you were before. But
True.
if they say yes, now you're further before than you were before, and then you're not in fear anymore. Because a lot of times if you took out fear out of the equation, then you'd be in a so much better place than you are now. We have so many fears that are driving our wants and desires and needs that we don't focus on, like, you talked about it before. What were you saying? What good could happen?
What's the best thing that could happen?
Exactly.
What's the best that could happen?
Exactly.
That's the new statement for the year, y'all.
Yeah.
It's a new statement for the year.
Yeah.
We're gonna look into the cameras. You gonna say it right after me. What's the best that could happen?
What's the best that can happen?
What's the best that could happen, y'all?
What's the best that can happen?
Come on, man. What's the best that can happen to you today?
Yeah.
And you got to get in that mode, or you start doing things out of your character, out of your way.
Yeah.
You start to feel like, people don't value you.
Yeah.
And that's where we get into this next segment of the D&D Level podcast today. Is, let me ask you a question. It's how we're going to go into the next segment. Mm-hmm. Do you think fear plays a large role or a larger role in people getting divorced?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of times it's because when people get into relationships with individuals, first of all, there's the fear of the unknown, right? Yeah. So no matter what type of individual that you meet in this life, you're going to have a situation where there is unknown factors that you don't know.
Or the fear of what you think you know.
Or what you think you know.
that's what it gets.
You think you know.
We'll get into that one.
Exactly. Or being surprised by the things you thought you knew about the person. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You're surprised, like, oh, I didn't know you was like that.
Like, whoa.
That was a little,
like,
whoa, hey. Where this
come from? Before we get to know each other, but I thought I knew you.
I thought I knew you, but I really don't know. I don't know you at all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's what you perceive. Because, the problem is that we have our perceived mindset about this individual, how their character is, and then we have a makeup. We've made this picture in our mind. This is what this person is.
Right.
And we don't want, our mind doesn't want to go from, it doesn't want to diffuse or vary or have any variance of thought that this person is anything less than this or not. That's why, even when I was thinking about, we were talking about the whole essence acting thing, passion or no empathy for the other person. A lot of times with the whole situation with divorce even happens is you're not having empathy. There's no empathy in the situation because you're not seeing the side from the other person's side. You're only seeing your hurt, your pain. You don't see the other person's hurt, their pain. Mm-hmm. And so what happens is now you're not seeing, you have no capacity to empathize. There's no capacity to bring any love together.
Let's empathize real quick. What's the name of the podcast and who did they interview today?
This was Hardly Initiated.
Hardly Initiated. Shout out to Hardly Initiated. We're going to link the video at the end of the video of the podcast and their channel. And the interview with
Essence Atkins, man.
Go watch it.
Very
Go
good.
watch it. Very
Actress.
good.
Very good actress.
Very good.
And
It's an
godly
awesome,
person. Yeah.
yeah,
Godly
awesome
woman.
interview.
Yeah, godly
So
woman.
we're getting into how I think the name of the actual podcast was
It
something
was divorce, it was platonic relationships, and dealing with pornography.
dealing with.
And I guess it was her issues and struggles that she had to deal with, in her career, dealing with different individuals and playing off of certain things. So we're going to kind of go over this and expose some things.
We're gonna break down this interview real quick. We started with the divorce thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like to better this channel, we have to come up with better questions.
Correct.
If we come up with better questions, it'll balance itself out, and people want to know.
Yeah.
People want to know, like, what does she think about this? What is she like? How did this start?
Yeah.
So, from my recollection, she started dating, doing online dating.
Yeah, she
back
found
in the
somebody
day.
at Match.com, which is
Match.com.
It's crazy how she did it though, right?
I was like, huh?
It's weird.
She had a way of doing it. So if I recall right, you want to tell it?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Right. If I recall right, she would get on there, but she wouldn't put her
picture. Yeah, which is
so she was like, if you want to know what I look like, you know what I'm saying, message me, and I'll if you're really interested. So most people that don't dig deep, the people that she probably didn't want, passed her by.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying? She wanted anyway.
So right? she was to me, she was cultivating her universe.
Correct.
She was like, you know what? I'm not just gonna throw everything at everybody. I'm not gonna show you everything.
Sure.
Here we go. I'm gonna give you something. This is like test number one.
Yeah.
Like if you can pass this test, you can go to we can go to the next levels, and we can go higher and higher. We can level up.
Level up. Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So we can level up. And I was like, yo, this is kind of ingenious.
It's dope though. But
I was like, yo, this is dope way to do this.
But interesting thing is though, I mean, think about if you had people only basing their information or their process of being attracted to individuals based on what they say instead of seeing who they are in terms of visually. You know what I'm saying? Because most of us are all visual, especially men, right? But and if we don't see anything visually, we're not gonna dig deeper to find out what's behind just this person looks good, they're attractive, and all the other good stuff.
Right.
So, but in her position as an actress and already a well-known figure, she probably doesn't want to attract it's
everybody. Like, oh, she's on here.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, there's so many people, but probably bombarding her with like, of course I want to be with you.
So she had to play it smart. And I was like, yo, this is playing it smart.
It's playing it smart for her.
It's smart for her. And I'm like, yo, I'm not like, okay, this is a great strategy for me. No, but the strategy in itself, if I was to tell anybody that any of my female platonic friends how to go about this, that would be one of the ways to go about it. You know what I'm saying? The pictures are like, I mean, like, you could go on. I don't know. Nowadays,
no, you're not gonna
back in the day,
maybe you could get
because it was more intelligent people reading that, instead of just everybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now it's like a sea of people like just swiping you left and swiping you right based on your picture and your name.
Exactly. And
I was like, people got the right to do that.
They do.
You got a right to pick what you want.
Yeah.
But there are those people that are going to be exceptional enough to actually read.
Yeah, exactly.
And say, yo, I want to see what this is about.
And I'm curious.
I'm curious. I have to go. It's what the man should do. They should come find you.
Yeah.
They should be out looking.
The Bible tells you that kings are. God hides treasures for kings. It's for kings to search it out.
For kings to search out.
Yeah.
So if you put the picture up there, and then you're right after somebody with a big old, you know what I'm saying, wagon behind them, you're gonna lose.
You're gonna lose because that's all you're focused on.
You're gonna lose with most of the men out here. And they also talked about that on the podcast, is that like certain men just aren't on that.
Yeah, exactly. They're just that's not their mentality. You know, she did talk about a lot of it is the sexualizing of culture. Yeah. Like the culture right now is being so sexualized. You got Sexy Red. You got all these people. It's like there's not creating a line. There's no line in between the things that are profane, the things that are like holy, or the things that are at least mainstream acceptable. The line is being blurred. Like you can see it on television, you can see it in the music.
Right. The way is getting wider and wider and wider for everybody to jump in, and it's not, and that's not the way. It's the narrow. The narrow street is the way. You know what I'm saying?
Narrow is the way.
Narrow is the way.
You know.
And it's absolutely insane.
It is.
Like, bro, to the point where I've taken a stance on my phone and my social media that I see. I don't care what it is. I'm like, this is okay. That looks nice.
Yeah.
Not interested. Let me find the little hamburger.
Yeah.
Let me find the 3 buttons.
Yeah.
Not press the not interested. Show less button.
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, for the brothers that are out there struggling with this, you put your. I dare you to put your phone down for like 2 or 3 days. See if you can just put that phone down. See if you can just take Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. I know y'all out there, Twitter people.
Yeah.
I know y'all out there. Twitter
subscribe, guys.
Man,
more subscribers.
Like and subscribe.
Let's go.
After you do this challenge, subscribe us or like and subscribe us right now.
Yeah, please.
But I'm challenging you to 3 days without the social media.
Yeah.
See if you can go 3 days without having to see
body
a
parts.
curvaceous body, or body parts or something completely just. I don't want to call it. I'm just call it nasty.
Yeah.
Nowadays it's not. It's gonna hurt a couple people's feelings.
Yeah.
But just blatantly showing every body part you have.
Yeah.
For likes and for money.
Yeah. You're doing your own
service. I call it nasty. It's a disservice. It's not clean. It's not the narrow way.
Yeah.
It's the way everybody's. It's the wide way.
If you're going the way of where everyone else goes, then how does it make you any more important to yourself? Like, people don't recognize that there's so many people who are out there doing things in the wide way.
Woo.
And so what happens, the Bible says that wide is the way that leads to destruction. So you've got to learn how to narrow things so you're not in the way of the things that are causing destruction to your life. Like, even the things that you're seeing, what you're consuming, what's going on in television, all these things in culture, they're making you part of just the everyday fabric that's going, and that fabric is not going toward God. Mm-hmm. That fabric is going against God. And so you, at a certain point, now I'm not saying everyone is a Christian, but if you are going to be one, or if you have some type of belief system, and even if you don't,
you just want to be better.
You just want to be better at something.
Not the best.
Exactly.
Not showing off.
Yeah.
Not ultimate.
Yeah.
If you just want to be a better person.
Correct. Ooh, bro. You know what's so interesting? You're funny thing to talk about. They were talking about in the podcast. A lot of some of these men don't want to be with certain women just like her because they have standards, because they don't want to be better.
They don't want to be better
because you're looking at less. Like, you don't want to be with a woman who's going to demand that you become a better man. That's a thing.
And that's a challenge in itself,
that's
man.
A challenge in itself.
People not ready to take on these challenges, man.
Yeah.
All right? We're taking on all type of challenges. We're putting cameras on the ceiling and taping them up. But we want to take on the challenge of someone who might be intellectual, somebody that might want to actually be married.
Yeah, exactly.
And be in a good marriage, good relationship, not just in a relationship.
Exactly.
There's and they also alluded that some people are just doing it just to be comforted.
Exactly.
They just look like, hey, I just want
a companion
here.
Yeah.
I don't care what they do, how they do it. I don't care what I got to go through to have them here. I just want them here. And it's so crazy we talk about that now, right? Like before, like, I don't know, maybe like 10, 11, 12 years ago, I was talking with one of my buddies in the choir, and he was like, man, he had moved to Texas, like Houston or somewhere, right?
Okay.
And he was like, man, some of these women just want a man in the house.
Wow.
They will pay the rent.
What?
They will pay for the video games. They will pay for everything. They just want it. There's not, the pool of men is so depleted that they'll take somebody that'll just be there. Just to be there.
Wow.
Like, I don't need to do nothing else. I'll pay this, I'll pay that. They'll be the man so that they can have a man.
They have a man. So
don't be a man so you can have a man.
Exactly.
Stop it.
Yeah. That's also the thing with this whole Me Too movement and all these other things. A lot of times, I remember one thing that she said I like is that she's strong in her own femininity. It's like it's almost like it's weird because it seems like sometimes the feminist movement it moves more into a masculine situation than instead of enforcing and actually putting on not a pedestal but actually lowering that female traits, not honoring them for being feminine. There's a great essence in being feminine, and it's like the society is like, no, you got to be a man.
But see, I think it's working both sides though. Yeah. Like, we're not celebrating men for being men.
Correct. We don't do that.
You get what I'm saying?
That never happens.
We're not celebrating women for being women. Yeah. Or we are, and we've done it so much that they think it's automatic.
Yeah, well, you think
it's because you are a woman that you should be celebrated as a woman. And it's not that. It's like, I don't see it as that. Like, and I'll tell anybody to their face, like, you just because you were born with certain body parts don't make you a woman. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? To me, like, not to be celebrated in the way to celebrate your feminine energy. Just because you were born that way don't mean that you came with all the attachments and all the accessories. Some people just don't, and it's okay. But don't ask for all the accolades. Don't ask for a certificate of participation for just being there. Yeah. Like, I don't. No. You have. There's certain things you have to prove. Like, just like men.
So are you describing character? Because we know gender. Because we want to be clarified.
I mean, we're not talking about gender. Like, if you were born with what you were born with, you're a woman. Yeah. But what I'm saying is the accolades and the
pretense that's
the being. It's like, okay, it's like getting the awards and the gifts for being feminine aren't coming.
No, they're not.
The rewards for being masculine, you don't get any of those. Unless you're with a celebrated feminine woman. You don't get it. Like, you do not. Not being supported. You know, every show you see, the husband is he may be smart, but he isn't smarter than the wife.
He's like a simp.
He's not I wouldn't say so much a simp, but he's slothful. Or when he makes a mistake, even the kids look at him
it creeps to society because you even see it on TV. It's like, yeah, Dad, you done messed up, Dad. Yep. It's like that's the going rate of the mentality that's in our culture.
The man is the sloth.
Exactly.
In the relationship in all of these movies, bro. I watched a Christmas movie this morning with Brandy and on Netflix. I don't know what it's called, but if you go and see it, Brandy's in it. It's a really dope movie. Yes, you'll know what it is, right? And it's the guy from the American Pie movies. I forgot his name. But it's a great Christmas movie. But in this movie, his wife is jealous of the old girlfriend.
Oh wow!
Who is just from her perspective, perfect in every way. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. So his old girlfriend's perfect in every way. She probably feels less than perfect.
And she feels less than perfect for him. And then she tries to explain it to her husband, but in her explaining it, she's telling him that she doesn't like her life.
What?
And that's why she doesn't want to go see this said friend anymore. Wow. She doesn't want to celebrate with this friend because it's just too perfect.
It reminds her
that she is doubting her life. She's doubting her life, so she explains it to him. Yeah. And even in that, it makes him look. Even in her feeling that way, the translation for me from the film to me is that she doesn't think her life is enough.
Wow. Yeah, you can't compare your life to anybody else.
There we go. But who's providing for this life?
Him.
Yeah. So you're showing you're outwardly showing that he's not enough. Nor the kids that you bore by him are enough because somebody else's family, you feel somebody else is better than yours.
And you know the weird part about it, probably family has their own concerns, own issues, and they could be feeling the same exact way about you that you feel about them.
I know it's a movie, but I knew that.
Yeah.
I was like, there's going to be an issue with this other family by the end of this movie.
Exactly.
This is like, there's only a couple plots. I think there's like 32 plots, really.
Okay.
In all of theater. There's literally like 30 something plots.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. So we got this Christmas thing. You go see your friend, you think it's doing better than you, and then you snoop around, trying to find something wrong. You don't find anything wrong. Yeah. Then, like, okay, then you get caught up. Wow. Like, you got caught snooping now. Right? This is the whole movie. Yeah. You get caught snooping. Then, okay, cool. Oh, now it's time to leave. Like, no. Yeah. Your friend really wants to reconcile with you because they're a really good person. Yeah. You get to feel like an ass. Because you were, like, thinking that, oh, it's all good and dandy. Yeah. You go throughout the movie, then you find out something was really wrong. Wow. There was one thing that was off. Yeah. Everything else may be true, but that one thing that you were looking for, you find it, and you still feel even worse because now you done found something that's actually wrong with it. Yeah, because you wanted to find it. Right. Yeah. They really are. To me, they were really beating up on this wife character, but I understood the viewpoint. Yeah. But I was like, yo, this is some real selfish stuff. Yeah, it is, man. I'm like, yeah, it's so. You know what? One thing I realized too when we were talking about the whole relationship thing is, if you're looking for bad things, you're gonna find something. And if you don't, and if it's not as bad as you think it is, you're gonna create something. Right. You know what I'm saying? Well, they did this, they did that, and that's the whole thing about like having all this pretense when you have a relationship is that you're instead of discovering and just letting things flow the way they need to flow, you got your mindset already made up based on your past relationships. This person's going to do me like they did the other person. The other person did me. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just waiting for it to happen. So in that vein, we're going to the next question. Let's go to the next question. All right, we're going to the next question. Let's do it. How do you feel? What has been your experience? Have you ever had to deal with somebody with a platonic best friend of the opposite sex? Oh, yeah, I did, actually. I told him to cut it off. I told him to cut it off. I'm sorry. TTT was like, I told him to cut it off. They told me in the beginning. Right. Like, they let you know. This is my best friend. My best friend's a man. I said, well, that's going to have to end. I'm sorry. I know how men are. And I don't care what happens, this man wants. This is what I'm saying. I don't care what I know the internet's been saying that the general consensus is that men will wait around for that one time, one chance to do just like I was just jump in. Exactly. And I'm like, that's not true for everybody. I don't think it's true for everybody. Men don't really want to wait like that. No, they don't, because this is the thing. Men are not sitting there like, oh, yeah, I hope she leaves her husband and comes with me. Exactly. Who? Exactly. Who? No. Who's thinking like this? Nobody's thinking like this. This is how I feel like they're explaining this. Yeah. And man, I'm like the platonic best friend thing. I'm like, in my head, I want to be like this superhuman that says, it doesn't bother me. But like, I want to be that way. But I'm like, am I that way? I'm like, I don't know because my other half doesn't have any platonic best friends like that. Not male friends. Yeah. And she sees it the way I see it, like, like a male best friend. But you know what's interesting? But then it comes back to me, like, I don't like you having a female best friend. Exactly. Like, that's kind of a suspect. Exactly. I mean, this is the thing. I'll tell you the truth. Like, you know, don't let it talks about in the Bible, don't let your good be evil spoken of. Right. So don't make situations that might be suspect, even though they're not suspect, don't have potential for them to be suspect. There we go. If you trust and you believe that you're with the right person, don't put them in positions where
they have to suspect situations. You want everything to be clear, transparent, and don't have outside influences. Because even with the situation with me and this individual at the time, they were like, well, this person's been my best friend since I was a kid. I understand that, but I don't feel comfortable with that.
It's a hard no.
It's hard no.
It's a hard no.
I mean,
All right,
has this individual kissed you at any point?
You can't have me and him
exactly
at the same time. No.
If that person is your best friend, then what am I to you? We're supposed to cultivate our best friendship together.
I mean,
I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I'll give you an example. There's certain type of aspects that men and women have, but I think at a certain point when you are getting into a marriage situation, your spouse should start to become closer to your best friend or the person you're most intimate with and have a great friendship as well as be lovers together. So
do you think it's like a fear of them being more intimate with that person? Because it is an intimacy to be somebody's best friend.
Exactly.
To be around them all the time. But what if she had a female best friend? What would be the difference?
I get the difference is the female, the best friend has, she's on the other side in an alternative lifestyle.
You see, like what you don't know if that best friend is
nowadays. You never know what's going on.
You don't know if that other best friend is not on the other side. So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like me personally in my head. I'm like roll the dice. I don't care. Like
yeah.
If I'm gonna find out that you're untrustworthy, this would be the best way to tell.
That is true, and I'll give you an example too. And this is the thing, I think at a certain point, a certain level, in certain types of relationships, you just do things that you know are going to create trust in your relationship. Things that you know are going to create distrust.
Right.
No matter, and I think it's based on your character. You got to understand the respect of boundaries. Like, I'm not going to put myself in a situation where I'm going to be having all these platonic female friends and I have a relationship with this woman. I'm not that type of individual. I'm a one woman person. I don't deal with other women after. I don't care. They're friends. The person, if it was a platonic situation, they would have to be married and they have to know me and the person I'm with.
Okay,
and they have to be older, and we have to be some type of mentors, or like somebody like a family situation. Because I do have some women that I do know who are older and who are married, who are good friends of mine, but I know their husbands, and they trust me with their wife. But when I'm in a situation, I'm never alone with them. I'm there with their husband and their wife. So that's fine.
You never let your
exactly. So I don't put myself in situations where I'm going to be alone with somebody else's wife. Like I don't want to be alone with anybody else's wife. Like even if we're good, the only other person I would did is somebody that I was older that I work with. So we're alone together often, and he's the only person probably would trust me with his wife. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but he knows I'm not gonna do anything. We're a family, so we're not. There's no mistrust. We're always gonna have a certain amount of trust. But at a certain point, when you mature, you recognize. Because even my father and mother, like my dad would have like platonic friends who were women who were like he'd known over the years that had nothing. There was nothing sexual going on, nothing strange. It was just that they were kind of like sisters. They were just kind of like people that we had in our lives who he had friends with, and there was not. They were married. There was nothing weird going on. I think there's a certain level of maturity you get to where you trust the partner that you're at that you're not going to be. There's not going to be any weirdness going on.
Right. I believe that I agree with everything you just said, man. Great. Those are great points, bro. Because you have to get to that point where I believe that we don't talk about the maturity part of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like to be around, to have a person in your life, you have to know that they're mature enough to be around, or if that's the culture, right? If that's the culture, and the maturity is being around the opposite sex and not putting yourself in positions to mess up your relationship, that's another level of maturity. That's how I feel though. I think even Essence mentioned that in the podcast was that you have to have the wisdom to know that even though this is adult person, you're not my wife, or you're not
Exactly. You're not my husband.
You're not that one.
You're not that one that gets.
So I'm not going to give you
any influence.
This influence with this. I'm not going to get this close with you because you're not the one.
You're not the one, and
I can mess up a whole lot of stuff.
Exactly.
Just wanting to be, just being hot with a friend, or somebody you work with, or somebody you had to be in close quarters with for a long amount of time.
Exactly.
And you have to know that, like, it's not just you saying, it's not just you saying no to that person, but it's you knowing that this isn't the best situation for me.
Exactly. And think about it in the future. It's almost like the situation for me is like, when you look at individual people, you got to look at them, okay, is this person going to be in my future? You know what I'm saying? And people talk, I think I talked about this on the podcast before. If someone doesn't talk to you about, see you in their future, they don't talk in the future tense about you, and you're not there when they talk, they're not for you. Because they're not thinking about you being with them in the future. They don't see you like being there with them. They're talking about other things. They're going to look at houses, and they ain't saying you. They ain't saying you come along.
It's like
they're not for you.
It's like what Essence was saying. Like, it's not congruent.
It's not congruent.
It doesn't. Your actions don't match up with your words or what you saying your intent is. Your character. She was saying she had mentioned that she had went out with a man that wanted to be with her, and he was expressing how much he wants to be with her, and he wants to be married and blah blah blah. And she's like, I've been here the entire time.
Yeah, your actions don't.
Well, your actions don't line up. This one dinner isn't going to line up. She was like, I don't care how many dinners. She was like, I don't care how many dinners you take me on. It's not going to open up these legs. Okay? She says it like this, and I love her for her honesty and her candidness.
Yeah.
And it makes it even more enjoyable podcast because you know when somebody's real.
Yeah.
You know when somebody's faking. You get the vibe is there. Like you're putting on.
You're putting on. You know the thing. You're putting on. So you know what I liked about it is that the fact that you could tell she values herself.
Right.
She values God and how she sees God because she's abstaining. And I think a lot of times you don't understand is like abstaining from sex before you get married gives a lot of trust to the other individual to like say. I think she was dealing with the fact that he wasn't helping her abstain. The other party.
Right. She had another relationship where she felt like he should be leading this charge and being abstaining from sex.
Exactly.
Because she was like, I'm starting to feel guilty for telling you no
all the time,
and it really should be you telling her, you leading me,
leading her
in not doing this. So when we get married, we can be
free.
We can be free so I cannot feel guilty.
Exactly.
I cannot have the stain of sin on me before I get married.
Exactly.
And I don't want to be. And you know what? I love that point of view because I've been thinking about the thought of sin being basically anything that takes you away from God.
Yeah.
And she was like, this is one of those things that before marriage separates you from God.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it binds you to that person.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? God's on the outskirts, and you're trying to figure out why you can't get back to God.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you've already taken a side.
Yeah. True.
You already decided to worship something else
besides God,
and or more than God. And being without God is the sin.
Yeah.
It's like anything that takes you away from God is the sin.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? And she was talking about how she felt that pornography was helping her abstaining.
Exactly, which is
and it's a deterrent. And in your head, and as you mature, you realize that it's almost the exact same. You just don't have the other person.
Yeah, because what pornography does, it actually desensitizes you to sex. So then you're not as sensitive to the things you should be sensitive because you're only looking at body parts instead of looking at individuals 360 as an individual. And now you can't see how this person is any more important than any other person.
You can't count the cost.
You can't count the cost.
Because you don't. You're imagining numbers now.
Exactly.
Because your feelings got you feeling like he's
Exactly.
a really good person or like she's a really good person.
Yeah.
Because they make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And when you do that and you play those numbers and you don't play with facts.
Yeah. You don't play with facts.
Like this person hasn't shown me that they're a friend.
Yeah.
They haven't shown me that they could lead. Yeah. And I believe that's one more reason why she said, you know, I want to be out of this because you haven't shown me that you're gonna lead. Yeah. Because you know that this is supposed to happen, and you didn't step up and go, hey, look, we're in this together.
Exactly. We're trying to help each other.
You're basically saying if you don't do anything, guys, doing nothing is an action, guys.
It is an action. If you do nothing, it's an action.
It's a declaration.
Yeah.
That you're on the other side of this.
You know, it's so funny you should say that. A long time ago, when I was in college, right? And I was like, man, I'm tired of this. Tired of the devil, tired of God. I don't deal with nobody else. So, God, can't I just be left alone, right? So God was like, well, listen. If you, see, people don't understand that God is perfect, right? So since God is perfect and we're not, when you're on the other side of perfection, you're automatically on the devil's side. He's like, you can't reject me and not accept the devil. And you can't accept the devil and then reject me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm already perfect as far in God's eyes. God says I'm perfect.
No man can serve two gods.
So no man can serve two masters. So if I'm perfect and you're not perfect, and you decide to go away from me, everything that opposite of me is evil, right? Yeah. So that's why when I always even think about this, not to be too preachy about this, when I tell people about God or a situation, and they're not Christians, and I say that people talking about heaven and hell. Now I'm just going to say this really quickly. Think about it. If you reject God, who is good, righteous, kind, loving, right, and has
think on these things,
right?
Yes,
exactly. He's all these things, right? Now, since he's perfect, that's all he is and can be. If you reject that, you get whatever is the difference of what he is not, which is not loving, evil, bad things, you know what I'm saying? Unrighteousness. All the things that he is not, you're rejecting, you're going to get all that because you're rejecting him. Because he's willing to love you and willing to come to you. But if you reject all those things, you get what's on the other side of the spectrum because it's a line. You can't, like, people always like, oh, well, this is gray lines. No. God is perfect. So there's a line that's down the middle, and Jesus is in the line. You accept him, you get in with him. You don't, you're telling him, okay, I don't want this. So you get the opposite.
This doesn't make you perfect.
It doesn't.
It makes you in line with perfect.
Yeah.
I'd rather be behind I'd rather be behind a perfect than be behind an imperfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather go down trying
to be perfect
than to try and be imperfect. You don't have to try this over here.
Exactly.
You don't have to. You can just live and do the other side.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So narrow is the way, man.
Yeah, narrow is the way.
This podcast has been so dope, bro.
Bro, it was dope.
Man, oh my gosh, bro. We went through it all, P. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't wait to get to the next one. Right here on the D&D Leveling Up Podcast. And if you don't know, now you know. That's right, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Peace. That was good.